Hey guys, Fresh Dave here. Today we're going to be talking about the 2021 Chevy Silverado 1500 with the 2.7 liter inline 4. Right? Alright. So this truck, the transmission in this is an 8-speed automatic. We're going to pop the hood here. And we are going to show you the engine. This specific truck has a 2.7 liter inline 4 making a whopping 310 horsepower and 430 pound-feet of torque. Now with this truck, it has dual overhead cams, direct injection, and it has a turbocharger right here. With this truck, it also has cylinder deactivation. That way you get better fuel economy on the road when you're not in a high load situation. Now, with that being said, it requires Dexos rated 5W30 motor oil. It takes 6 quarts of oil. So if you get one of these, just remember that. It takes 6 quarts of 5W30. And it has to be Dexos rated because of the GM vehicle. But some other features it has on this truck is if you go to the back, as you can see, in the tailgate, there's an electronic tailgate. Some may like it, some may hate it. It depends. This is also a really light tailgate, by the way. But yeah, so that's pretty sick. Now, I kind of want to take you on the inside of it. So, we're on the inside of this truck now. And it's honestly not a bad interior. And we're going to start the truck up. You're going to see how quiet the inside of this is. Alright. Start her up. And yeah, so we're not doing too bad. Let's check our fuel economy rating. Alright. Fuel economy is our average fuel economy is 19.5 mpg, which for a pickup truck is not too bad. Although we can get better. Alright, so we're just gonna start driving it now. It has a backup camera. Which, yeah. So we're just gonna kind of back out of here and see what's up. Whoa. Here we go. Alright. And we're off. To hit the road. Now. Alright. Now, the acceleration on this thing is not too bad. In fact, it has some pretty decent get up and go. Oh. Tripod's shaking a little bit. But, so yeah, we're off and we're driving. Drives pretty smoothly. It's just a pretty nice truck overall. You can hear the turbo when you hit the gas a little bit. You can hear it spool up. It's honestly pretty sick. And now, some people are probably going to hate on the fact that it's a 4-cylinder. And you know what? I used to think the same way. But the fact is that even though it's a 4-cylinder, it has some pretty decent power to it. Now, yeah, if I were to design it, it probably would have had like an inline 6 or something. But the fact is, this thing gets pretty decent fuel economy. And it's pretty decent power for being a 4-cylinder. So yeah, I mean, here you go. Now, this is the base model. So it doesn't have any like fancy cruise control features. It has basic cruise control. your time, know what the time is. It'll tell you how fast you're going, and it'll tell you how far you can go before you're empty. So honestly, pretty decent. It has buttons on the steering wheel to make the volume on the radio go up and down. I don't know what does the other side do. Oh, I don't know what the other side does. But when you have a phone connected, you can have voice commands and stuff. I never have to use that kind of stuff, but yeah. Got a column shifter, and this middle part here, you can't see it, but the middle can go up, and it's a third seat in the front, so it's like a bench seat. And honestly, that's pretty nice to have when you have to carry 5 passengers plus yourself, and let you carry more people. Now this thing only has a 5.5 foot bed, which most modern trucks, that's common. So that's one of the downsides of this truck. Personally, I would have just made it an 8 foot bed. But, you know, it has to fit in a parking space, so that's not really an option. I mean, if you get a custom, it might be, but it's probably like really expensive if I had to guess. But yeah, what's our fuel economy right now? We're getting like, oh, because we're going downhill, it said like 50. Okay, no, that's not what it's actually getting. It's getting like 23, 22 mpg right now. It's pretty average. We are on dirt though, so that's kind of what you gotta expect from it. So, yeah. Alright, we're about to hit the main road. Alright, let's get in. What's it, a mile? Alright. Yeah, I am decelerating like super slowly, but there we go. Oh, there's a big ass thing up there. Yeah. Look at it. We're just taking this turn nice and easy. Oh, alright. So yeah. You do hear the road noise, but I mean, what do you expect? It's a truck. It's gonna have stiff suspension and all that. Now it's a full-size pickup. It has a 4-cylinder. I mean, there's nothing bad about it. It does have decent power, decent torque. I did the math, and it actually has better horsepower per liter than the 5-liter Coyote, supposedly. I looked it up. It said the Coyote makes 400 horsepower, but it's a 5-liter, so like that's less than 100 horsepower per liter. This makes like 114.8 horsepower per liter. And it's a 2.7 liter, so honestly not bad. Because think about it. Horsepower per liter is more impressive than horsepower overall. And here's why. Because a 1-liter engine making 200 horsepower is way more impressive than a 4-liter engine making 400 horsepower. Now you may be saying, but 400 horsepower is a lot. Well, yes, but considering the fact that the one engine is making 200 horsepower per liter, and then the other one would be making 100 horsepower per liter, is it really that? I don't think it's really that impressive. Now, because you can make like, frick, I don't know. You can make 500 horsepower, and you can have a 10-liter engine, and that's like horrible. That's like 50 horsepower per liter, and that is not good at all. But you can also have a decently sized you have a 5 liter making like 600 horsepower per liter. And that's pretty impressive. I don't know. It's just something to think about. Considering the fact that some engines have more power than the other per liter than others. Now, if you scale this engine up to not a 4-cylinder, it already is a 4-cylinder. If you scale this up to a V8, it would be a 5.4 liter V8. Which, I mean, it'd be more liters than the Ford, but less liters than the Hemi. Right? Because the Hemi's a 5.7. I'm just going on talking about other vehicles. Yeah. So, we're chilling right now. Like this truck, for being a full-size pickup, it rides pretty smooth. Being a pickup, like, yeah, there's bumps here and there. It can kind of feel the roughness or whatever, but it's a truck, so of course I'm gonna have this suspension. Now, in Europe, this thing probably would not be allowed in Europe. And if it is, it's probably really expensive to own because fuel there is like ridiculously expensive. Here it's kind of high now too, but nothing crazy. Now, the one downside about this vehicle, there isn't really much of a downside. It's like a slight inconvenience because the fact that it's not flex fuel, right? But it's also a 2.7 liter. And last time I checked, the 3.5 liter EcoBoost is also not flex fuel in the Ford. So, I mean, some sacrifice, whatever. Now, one thing that kind of is an inconvenience is the fact that the Chevy engine, that's like over 6 liters or whatever, it requires premium fuel, or not requires, it recommends premium, but it's not flex fuel. That's the problem. Like, even though flex fuel, E85 has more octane rating than premium does, and it's cheaper to run E85 than premium. I don't know. I don't know why they do that. I don't know why they designed it like that. It's kind of dumb. Maybe so oil companies will get more money. I don't know. It's just a thought to think about. But yeah. So we're about to pass the highway. Oh. Yeah. You can feel the bumps, but overall, it's honestly not that bad. Yeah, you can hear, once you stop accelerating, you can hear the turbo like spool back down, which is kind of crazy to think about. So, yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, so it's like 11:10. I'm just driving normally to pick up my brother. I'm driving this truck. It's not my truck, it's my grandpa's truck. Because my truck, my sports track, the transmission blew on my sports track, which kind of sucks. I think it's a bad sensor, a bad solenoid though, because when we unplugged it overnight and plugged it back in on the battery, it ran for like a little bit and then the transmission stopped working. So we had to drive it in third gear. I had to drive it in second. Third gear wasn't even working when I first happened. And then when I tried to drive it at the auto shop, reverse stopped working in the driveway. So that's fun. Not really. But yeah, this thing has a 4-cylinder engine. But it's a 4-cylinder engine, and it literally makes more power than my V6 in my sports track. That's like a 4-liter, and I don't know how that makes sense. A 2.7 liter 4-cylinder makes more power than a 4-liter 6-cylinder. I mean, this thing does have a freaking turbo though, so that's probably why. If it was a okay, if it was an inline 6 and had twin turbos on it, this thing would make like a crap ton of freaking power, dude. This thing would have so much power. I probably wouldn't get as good fuel economy, but I mean, if it was a 3 liter or a 2.7 liter inline 6 or something, and it had twin turbos, maybe you would get the same MPG or fuel economy, I should say, because, you know, in countries that use the metric system, they don't go by kilometers per liter. They go by liters per 100 kilometers, and it's weird. So, because in the US, the higher the fuel economy number, the better. In countries that use the metric system, it's literally the exact opposite. The lower the number, the better. So if it says something like 1 liter per 100 kilometers is just crazy fuel economy, versus 1 miles per gallon, that's horrible. That's horrible fuel economy. Now, if you swap it around, 30 miles per gallon is pretty good. 30 liters per 100 kilometers is horrible. So, yeah. Fuel economy just is weird. It's a weird thing to measure. Now, I mean, they could have just used kilometers per liter. That would have made sense. Because it'll tell you how far you can go with a liter of fuel versus how many liters you use on 100 kilometers. Like, what is it getting now in metric? 7.6, 7.9, 8.1 liters per 100 kilometers. So, yeah, average is 11.7, best is 8.1 liters per 100 kilometers. But we're in America, so we use miles per gallon, and we use miles instead of kilometers. And yeah, it's not that hard to change it to metric. Like, you just gotta go into settings and just change it. My dad's truck is easier to put to metric. You just hit the OK button. The problem is with his truck, cruise control does not work with metric. It just does it in increments of 2 kilometers or something like that. It sucks because when you're trying to fine tune it to, say, I don't know, 55 kilometers an hour, it just doesn't let you do that. This does, which is, I think, is pretty dope. Because if America ever swapped to metric for speed limits and stuff, we'd probably use multiples of 5 to get as close as possible to what it is now, or change it. And multiples of 5 would probably be better because we don't have to change it that much. And with the Chevy truck, you could do it just fine, but with the Ford, you can't do that. And with my Ford, it's 2 sets of numbers, and in my mom's Lincoln, to go into settings to change it to kilometers, even though it's not even a real speedometer, it's a fake digital screen. It shows the 2 sets of numbers. It shows miles and kilometers. It doesn't just change the number, which I think is really dumb. Because you can easily swap it to kilometers because it's a needle on the screen. Like, it's dumb. I don't get it. Shame on Lincoln. The speedometer goes up to 140 on here. So I believe in kilometers, that's like, no, I believe in miles if it was in kilometers. 140 is like 85 or something like that. Something generic like that. I know 90 kilometers is like 56, around that to 55, it's fine. I need to make a turn soon. Did I already pass it? No, I didn't. It's ahead. Is it right around here? I'm thinking. Yeah. Right. Here we go. Oh. Yeah, this driveway's kind of bumpy. Alright, well, I had to show you guys. Hopefully you liked the video. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe. And I'll try to see you in the next one. Peace.